quit early. I don't know.
Maybe. No telling with us.
Yep. Yeah, we're live. So, having a good day, I guess. It's not turned brilliant hot again, so that's a good thing.
That's it. That is a good thing.
I got a thing where Mike Hoffman sent a note that he's got another project coming up and invited me to do another pinup. So I'm going to do a pinup of Tigress, one of his characters, and it'll have, I guess, a story or two in it, plus all our pinups. That'll be
Well,
cool.
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and yeah, but I also like the only money I'm making on it is zero because I instantly sent for the promotional, support this
Oh,
Kickstarter thing. So
yeah.
I'm buying it versus being given a PDF. So
Oh,
I don't know if I could
well,
wrangle a free PDF. No doubt, probably could, but why not just buy it? You know,
I mean, you're talking to the guy that's directed a bunch of videos now, and every time I tell somebody the story, I told somebody I went to lunch with a couple guys today, and they're like, "What are you up to?" And I told them, I always start off my story with, "You're not gonna believe this," and I proceed
yeah.
to tell them, and and I mean, like Sunday, my uncle or my aunt actually goes, What are these videos I see you're working on?" I go, "Well, I'll tell you this." I said, "But I said you're gonna go. This is bullshit." And so
Yeah.
I told him the story, and sure enough, my uncle was like, "Well, that sounds like some bullshit." And I go, "I
Uh-huh.
told you." And he goes, "Why? Why does it? It's like, look." And he's like, "Well, you need to get paid." And I'm like, "Well, that doesn't always work out that way."
Yeah, yeah. Don't listen to that kind of input. They just want it to
Well,
stop until it makes sense to them. You know.
I mean, that's the thing is like, and again, hey, if somebody do a project and get paid, by all means do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only in this because I smell
Success.
a long term payday on this deal. But I also know there's no money being made right now.
No, no. This AI stuff. Everybody's invested. Did you happen to look at that link? I sent the link to you. That guy that was at Stanford discussing AI.
I did not see that. I don't know if I
Did,
missed.
oh, maybe it just didn't get through to you. But
Did you
God,
send
that.
that today, or when
Well,
did you send
no,
it?
no. It was a couple days ago when we
Hmm.
were discussing this or that. I forget what it was in our little email chains. Um,
Hmm.
what was it?
Sorry, I missed it.
Well, it's cool because it's worthwhile. He's just talking to a bunch of Stanford people, amount to students, I guess. But this guy is so influential. He's got guys like some other billionaire, like this Teal, just drops in because he knows he's talking. And it's like, oh, okay, this guy attracts other billionaires that want to hear what he says.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like, I mean, is it a long shot? Sure, everything's a long shot, but the guy at least has a track record of doing stuff,
Yeah.
and
And
he,
And that's
yeah,
what this guy was saying, that everything he's invested in has been, he says, basically his viewpoint is there's nothing but AI out there. That's everything his money's gone into. And he's just straightforward about it. I don't care. I know some of them are going to be just total losses that I've invested in. But he says it's the only thing to invest in.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, I, I mean, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate my aunt and uncle trying to watch out for me or whatever,
yeah.
and I mean that's what relatives do for you.
Hmm.
But also, I'm not. I mean, my relatives were like, "You need to go get a lawyer," and I'm going. If I get a lawyer, I might as well just quit. I
Yeah, yeah.
save my money, and quit, because
Just
this guy,
scare him off instantly. Yeah.
right? This guy is gonna go. He's a troublemaker. I don't want to be. I have
Yeah,
not.
you're instantly litigious if you
Right.
if you've
And
got the lawyer, if you're the lawyer guy.
well, and so it was like, well, if you get a lawyer, if he doesn't want you to get a lawyer, he's gonna screw you. It's like, well, I, you
Hmm.
know, I don't know that that's true. I mean, I got a lawyer to read my contract for Heaven's Rejects, and I haven't made a dime off of it.
Yeah.
I have no recourse. I mean, what do I do? You know, sue a comic company that doesn't have any money anyway? I mean,
Almost all this stuff is predicated on the idea that the only time someone sues somebody is when everybody's making money, so much so that it would be embarrassing to rip somebody off, and you do get paid. You know, it's like you rarely everybody just folds their tent basically when something is obviously a failure, and it's no big
Yeah.
deal. That's the way things happen. You know,
well,
the circus comes to town, and
and the circus leaves.
yeah, the circus
Well,
leaves.
I mean, here's my thing. When do I? You know, I'm 57. No one has ever given me the opportunity to direct
Good Lord,
these
you're old.
videos.
I'm just
Yes, yeah, and I mean, you know, it's just like somebody's like, "Oh, I don't like AI." Well, no one that works traditionally has ever reached out to me and said, "Scott, you should direct a movie. Scott, you should do storyboards for us."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know, so do I owe the movie people any kind of? No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, do I like AI? No. I mean, I'm sitting there drawing my comic,
Yeah.
but I'm going to take an opportunity that's presented to me.
Right.
And the guy's a billionaire. The guy has an impeccable track record, and you know, it's like, hey, maybe we'll win, maybe we won't win, but
It's
man,
it's your
how-
version of trickle down. You know, I've
how
said it.
can
Yeah,
yeah
go ahead.
how can I not work it? I mean, I've told my wife in my head I'm committed to at least the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the year, I'll reevaluate, and if it's, you know, if I'm like, I'll reach out to the guy and go, you know, I've been working on this for a while, and you know, what's going on? You know, and at that point, I think it's reasonable to say, you know, I don't want to quit, but where's it going? You know, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
Let's talk about me. You know?
Well, there's these things. What is happening? I think with this guy and everything like this is they're waiting to see what gels used to be. You know, considering all the billions and billions
Yes.
of dollars that the internet is now making, people used to say, "What's the business model?" They were all baffled, and it turned out the business model was not much more different than TV, but.
Yeah.
But for some reason, everybody was baffled by it early on. You know, I guess Google always knew what was up. It was all just information harvesting, basically.
Well, and that's kind of, this guy's got, you know, I mean, he's trying to start something, and there's a lot. I mean, there's so many pieces of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I would never, you know, and they're like, well, what about this? And I'm like, look, I don't know. I get emails almost every day, and I read them, and I'm like, I don't understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and it's Web 3.0 powered, it's AI powered, it uses blockchain, it uses crypto. You know, it's just like, but I know this: the guy has enough people that believe in him that are way more successful than me, that have invested a lot of money with him already and not seen a profit. And you know, so maybe, I mean, think about this, Ellis. If somehow I get in on this, I'll have got in at like the perfect time, because there have been people that have been with us for like 4 years.
Well, that's the deal. I mean, you might get paid in stock for something that becomes just super, you know, like that thing in I can't think of the name of the movie.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. Yeah, but the with Tom Hanks movie where he played an idiot, I forget, and he had his good friend Colonel Dan invested in, you know, in Apple.
It was no. It was it wasn't. It was oh god.
What is the name of that?
Not
dude?
Saving Private Ryan. What is?
No, it's not Saving Private Ryan.
It's a book. It's Bubba Gump.
Yeah, Bubba Gump.
It's
And
Bubba
Shrimp.
Gump. Yeah, and the Shrimp and the Stop Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I should have touched it off right there just the moment you said Gump. Yeah.
Gulp. Yeah. Anyway, so whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, I got off on a track. But
So
that sort of money is out there that just it's investment money that either pays off or not. And if it pays off and it's you've got that ground floor thing like you say,
true. Yeah.
kaboom, yeah,
Yeah.
could be a lot of fun to be in on.
Well, yeah. And I mean, I'm not quitting my day job. I'm not, I've got
Doing things carelessly. You're just,
right.
you're just expanding your notions about what can be. Is that a
Yeah.
Kamala Harris? That sounds kind of Kamala Harris.
We got to look at what can be and forget about what can't be,
Yeah,
Ellis.
that's right.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
I got some bad news today.
What was
Uh,
it?
Porches is closing.
Oh,
Yeah. Porches, for anybody that's listening that doesn't live in Oklahoma City, is a school/art supply store that's been around for a long time. Anyway, they are everything. Supposedly, I heard. I need to check on Facebook. Supposedly on Facebook, they're saying that everything is 20% off and canvases are 30% off. So,
I'd like some nice brush pens, stuff
well,
like that.
if I'm gonna go downtown tomorrow after work, I got to work for about 3 hours. I should be leaving about 10. If you want to meet me, you can meet me at my wife's work, and I'll drive to Porches.
Well, let's do that. If it's open, is it open?
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to
It
make
was
it.
open today. I mean, I'll call them before we go over there, or I'll
Okay.
look it up or something.
Yeah, sure. We'll meet up tomorrow. And
It's supposed to be nice. I mean, and I got
it'll
nothing.
be hot. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it got hot later today, didn't it?
Hmm.
I got to show you what I just finished reading.
Let's see it.
You're gonna like this, Ellis.
Okay.
I just finished this last night.
Oh my goodness.
The,
Yeah, and
the-
I've been negligent on that. I've got all that as digital, and I need to read it.
dude. So well, first off, it has footnotes. I should have been reading the footnotes all along because
I kind of hate footnotes, but they do add so much.
well,
if you
they're in
do.
the back, so it's a pain in the neck to read them. But
Uh-huh.
man, my problem is I don't know who all these characters are.
Yeah.
So but man, it's so good. That I think that may be my favorite thing of his.
I may have to now. That makes me feel real negligent not to have read it already. I've got it laying around here. It's
Yeah.
one big collection of files.
Oh yeah, I really liked it, and like I said, a lot of the stuff I'd be like, I don't know who these guys are, but his drawings are just, and it makes God, reading that makes me want to draw like him. It's like
Yeah. That he's one of the best guys on show and impact and simplicity. You just can't get better than
No, he's phenomenal.
Daryl
Darwin Cook.
Darwin Cook. Yeah.
Darwin Cook. Yeah. Read that.
Design. You when you say this guy's an artist, but this guy's a designer. This guy's thinking when he puts a mark down.
Oh yeah. So I finished that last night. I've got another book I'm reading called The Uncanny X-Force, which was from the late, I want to say around 2010, 2015, early 2010s, written by Rick Remender, and it's the X-Force in this particular thing is like the Black Ops wing of X-Men. So they're going through the old if you could go through time, would you kill Hitler?
Yeah.
It was that deal. And anyway, Dave got it because he'd heard that story was great. It's an omnibus, so it's 35 issues. I've got that, but I'm gonna read that here at the house, and then I got Hellboy: The Wild Hunt omnibus, which is the size of that New Frontier.
Really?
I'm probably gonna read that. That's what I'll throw in my bag and take to work.
Is it all Magnola or not?
Yeah. No. He didn't draw it. It's
Okay.
Fernando or whatever.
Yeah. Who is a great artist in his own right, but
Right.
still not Magnola.
Yeah. Still not Magnolia, but I was at Half Price Books and that was like $10.
Oh
So
my gosh!
And so I couldn't resist it. It's got like 3 trade paperbacks worth of stuff in it. I think
Good God.
2 or 3. Yeah,
Gee.
it's not really expensive.
Now, which half price were you at? The one closest to me?
No, the one up by me.
Okay.
I did not pilfer from you.
Oh, I wouldn't consider pilfering. I never go in there.
I know. I'm just teasing you. But anyway, I did that, and I've been working on my YouTube site. By the way, if anybody doesn't subscribe to me on YouTube, please subscribe. I changed my handle. It used to be Scott Sackett like 87981 or something like that. Now it's Scott D Sackett. No one had that, so I snapped it up.
There you go. I've got this particular episode of this called "1 Million Followers on YouTube" for no particular reason. It's just a complete non sequitur nonsense statement.
Dude, I have over 1,000 subscribers now.
There you go.
I have one of the key ingredients to getting monetized.
Yeah.
I need to get more watch hours. So I put out 2 videos this week because if I can do it now, it's like I've got to put out more and more content. So.
I was talking to my nephew via email that he's got a business that he hasn't, made a lot of money at, but he does have a YouTube channel, and he builds telescopes. And I
knew that. You told me about that.
I gave him this idea that if he just had a stop motion thing of him constructing one of his telescopes right there, it might get 1 million views.
Well,
and from that he might get 100,000 subscribers. But then right away he says, I don't know how to do stop motion. So right away,
No. You can, if he has an iPhone, there's a photography mode called high speed, and it makes a video, but it speeds it up.
Yeah, it only takes so much info.
It'll do like a minute. And it'll compress it.
Mm-hmm.
I recorded a drive home one time.
Hey, speaking of iPhones and stuff like that, what do you do with a big old movie you've made? Do you where do you transfer? How do you get any use out of it? Where does it just take
iPhone?
up? Yeah, does it just automatically take up your entire iPhone? With the gig capacity?
You plug it in and you can download it to a computer.
You plug your iPhone in to computers and download your videos.
Yes, but they're not that big. Most of my I've got like 300 videos. Some of them are like an hour on my phone.
Do you think you could explain that process of plugging in to download video? Because I always thought it required being in iCloud or Dropbox or whatever. You
literally take a cord. Hang on, I got one right here.
That's used for charging.
Like this. That's used for charging. Plug it into a PC.
Okay.
It will say, "What do you want to do with this file?" And you will say, open file, open to view files, open folder to view files, something like that. It'll open a folder. It has all these folders that are by month, I think. Mm-hmm. They're numbered like 0624 would be June 2024.
Uh-huh.
And you go in there and you find the video and you can drag it to the desktop.
Okay. Now, of course, that's you talking to a PC. I have to talk to a Mac. So
Mac
should
be
easier.
Should be easier.
Okay. I'll find a YouTube tutorial for it as well.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bugged by the idea that I know so little about this great tech I've got. I want to be using my iPhone for video and stuff, but
You should.
I'm put
We
off by
should be
the
making movies,
yeah.
man.
Well,
Yeah, we should be 100%. I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about I love that movie Coin Toss. I told you I
yeah,
sent that video to Niall or sent him a link, and he was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." Then he's like, "We need to get you trained in AI."
yeah. Well,
Like,
yeah, you do need to be using it constantly as a tool.
dude, and here's the thing: if you want to make videos, I can funnel them to Nile. In fact, I got a. Did I tell you I got a new PC?
Yes. How is that working out?
Well, I got to get a bigger drive put in. It's got a real small hard drive, but I downloaded DaVinci, which is a free video editor. So
Uh-huh.
I'm chomping at the bit to edit some video, man.
Excellent. Well, no. Some of these nice little video there's nothing better than sitting down with that old timeline and saying,
Just dropping and
what could,
dragging.
yep.
What can I cut? Yeah, I need to
Hmm.
mess with it because I opened it and it was not intuitive to me. But I haven't done
Yeah.
a lot of that, so I'm not the.
I remember iMovie wasn't intuitive to me, and after a while, it's like, what did I ever think was difficult about this
Yeah,
stuff?
sure. That's kind of what I figure is like it'll be one of those deals where I go, oh yeah, kind of like all the other programs I've learned.
And of course, the other stuff, you're gritting your teeth saying, why did somebody make this so stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you just get adapted to. Speaking of which, I had this computer finally give out on me on
Oh no.
no, not give out totally, just as a tool for doing my banking.
Oh,
It,
okay.
it gave up on me with the OS, and
Oh,
it hates Firefox.
it won't work. Yeah, their app won't work with your OS.
Yeah, and so I finally had to say, okay, what am I going to do? Because I got to have that online banking. So
Yeah.
I finally migrated to the phone to do the online banking.
Oh, we drug our heels in at that. That's why we left our bank. We left our bank because we were depositing checks, and we'd take them. We were going to the bank, and we'd drop them in on the weekend.
Hmm.
We'd go inside. Well, then they closed the inside. You had to do the drive-through, and then during COVID, they closed the drive-through. So they're like, well, you can do it through the ATM. So we were depositing large checks through the ATM,
Hmm.
which I never liked, and then the ATM stopped working, and we'd call them, and they go, "Oh yeah, we're having trouble with it." It's like, well, how am
What
I
do you
supposed?
expect your
Yeah, I
customer
have.
to do?
Well, I know. It's like, well, I've got a check for a couple grand on my counter here. What am I supposed to do with it? They're like, well, you have to come by during business hours. It's like, well, your business hours are 9 to 5, which are less than the hours I'm at work. And so we switched banks, and I mean, they were not happy to see us go. You know,
Well, yeah, that's
they
the
have
deal.
they have contacted us multiple times to make sure that there wasn't anything they could do. And I'm like, look. And when we closed our account, we had to make an appointment to where we could go do it in person on a
Hmm.
Saturday. And there wasn't a bank within 5 miles of us that was open on a Saturday. We had to go, you know, a ways. And then we got there, the lobby wasn't open. We had to go through the drive-through, tell them we're there for our appointment, then go to the front door and get let in. It's like,
Man.
good grief. Meanwhile, the bank we're at now, they're open every Saturday. We go there. They know our name, you know.
Yep.
So, you know.
And really, the only thing you want a bank to do is like you just don't want to have a run on it where they're losing your money,
No,
to where you
I,
have to line up with a bunch of other people and try to get yours out before they
well,
completely
no. I kind
burn
of
it.
want to. I kind of want a bank to kiss my ass a little bit. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. You know?
I was seeing something about somebody that these criminals nowadays, they are just so. This is one of our biggest business, being a smart criminal that just travels state to state, and this jugging thing. I saw a
Jugging.
headline.
What
Yeah,
is
where
that?
you, well, these guys disabled an ATM knowing that it would have to be serviced eventually. And that's all you're doing is you're hanging out, waiting. Jugging just means instead of mugging, you've got a mug for your money. Jugging means you've got to carry a jug for your money. You're going to get so much more. Basically, you're after
Oh,
bigger targets, I
so
guess.
they rob the guys when the guy gets there to work on it. They rob
Yeah,
him,
yeah, exactly.
forcing. Oh, jeez.
And they got him on the ground. Basically telling him they'll kill him if he interferes, and so he doesn't interfere.
No.
And it's I mean, this they had that crew was from Houston, but they were all the way up into uh, like someplace in Kansas or something like that. That they decided that's where they'll strike. You know.
In the book, not in the movie, but in the book, I don't think it was in the movie. Catch Me If You Can. The guy robbed an ATM, and what he did was actually, I'm sorry, he didn't rob an ATM. He robbed a deposit box. So what he did was he rented a guard uniform, and he made up a sign that said, "Deposit box closed. Leave deposit with guard." And he
Mm-hmm.
stood beside a deposit box. It was like in an airport or something, and just stood there for 8 hours. And people gave him deposits.
Now
And
that wouldn't have been in the movie though, would it? That would
I
have
don't
been
think no, I don't think
no.
it
That would
was.
have made him too mean to do that. He'd have made him
Probably.
more of an out and out thief. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
But that guy is fascinating. I mean that
oh my
movie's
gosh.
great, and the book's probably and the
Oh,
book's
the
better.
book's phenomenal. The
Yeah.
book is phenomenal. The book is what convinced me that I could get a ticket, a pro badge to San Diego Comic Con.
Because this
I
guy can do whatever he does. I
yeah,
can I can get a badge.
how can I not get? Yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, I mean that
it's
is what you get out of that. It's like watching that social network movie or whatever. It's like what? I'm a slacker. Look at these guys. They're making a
yeah,
billion
these.
dollars just by rubbing elbows. I need to get to it. You
Yep,
know?
yep. That was my thing. I'm a slacker.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
going on planes. I should at least be able to get to the Comic Con.
yeah. Then and that happened. What's this new movie that's come out that? Yeah, but those sorts of things, like, you get around something like that well establishes someone's formula for success. It's just the knowing it was there, and then
Keeping their eyes open.
keeping their eyes open, and
That dude just looked for
and the energy.
opportunities.
Yeah, the energy like that goes into it once you realize, hey, we're going. Let's do this thing.
Yeah, and what's crazy about that dude is he was young when he did all this,
Oh yes.
and he just happened to be a big kid, so he looked like an adult,
Hmm.
nice looking guy. He had
I wonder
he
how much of that success with women just real early on plays to, like, that might be like.
well, that's what. So in the book, how that dude got started on down his criminal path was he worked with his dad owned a stationery store in New York City,
Uh-huh.
and and that's where he learned how to fake some of the credentials he faked and stuff.
How to forge.
Yep, learned a little bit of graphic design, but so he had his dad bought him a car, and he said, "Son," and he's working at his dad's place, and he told his dad, he goes, "Dad, my problem is I've got a car and it's eating me alive in gas, and I don't have money to take any women out." And that was the other thing, is he was definitely motivated by women,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
and which I think came across in the movie.
Yeah.
And he so he told his dad. His dad said, "Okay, he said, you got me this car, but the maintenance is just killing me, and the gas." And so he said, "Okay, I'll get you a
Get you a
gas
credit
card.
card.
I'll
Yeah.
get you a gas card, but you know, only use it for gas and emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got the card. Well, then but he was still, you know, he still was short on cash. He needed cash, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and so his dad, he went to the gas station and he told the guy, he goes, look, I need cash. How much would you give me if I charge a set of tires? Would you give me half the price of tires in cash and you keep the tires? And the guy did it. The guy's like, you know, he talked the guy into doing it, and so the guy charged his card for the tires,
Wow. How about that?
and then that guy did it, and then he was like, well, if I can do it with one guy, I can do it to all of them. And so he
Yeah.
went to every whatever Exxon or whatever around town and made that kind of deal with people. And you know, the credit card came due, and his dad was, you know, son, I'm disappointed in you. You know, he charged up $3,000, and in that, and he told his dad, he's like, look, Dad, you know, I gotta confess, it was the women. And his dad, at this time, his parents had got divorced, and his dad was like, you know what, son, I understand. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, I got in no trouble. And he said, I sometimes I wonder if I'd have gotten in trouble, if my life would have been differently, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there was no repercussions, and he was like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, game on, you know. And from then on, he just went
He,
crazy.
but that instinct for what people will do, and to have the boldness to look for that sort of, we talk about being raised right.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, he was not raised right. Not.
I mean, when does that formative stuff happen?
No, I don't know, but it didn't happen to that cat.
And just how useful is all that formative stuff if you're
Well,
surrounded by other guys that are ready to take you off the moment they sense weakness.
well, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah. He's. Yeah, I recommend that book to anybody. That
Oh
book is
yeah.
super entertaining.
Is it just called Catch Me If You Can? I think
Yeah.
that's
So
all it is.
it's
And
called
his name is Frank something or other, I
Frank
think.
Abagnale.
Abagnale. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
There's a good. Hey, there's a good. The library has a good audio book of it.
Uh,
So you
I
know.
think that's the way I took it in, come to think of it. I think that is probably the way I partook.
Yeah, I've read it a
I
couple
may have
times
read
and
it.
listened to it a couple times. I enjoyed it. It was he
Well,
did a
yeah,
lot of
it's a cool adventure, but like you say, that makes you say, what keeps you from dressing like this? That sort of,
yeah,
that
becoming a
meme, that
pilot.
meme, yeah.
Well, so in the book he became a pilot, but he never flew a plane.
No, he was just in the jump seat
He
usually.
was in the jump seat. He was using it to basically deadhead from
Mm-hmm.
location to location.
Uh-huh.
And then he got a deal where he I forget how he arranged it, but he convinced stewardesses that he was doing publicity for Delta, and he took them to Europe, and he traveled around Europe with all these girls and took photos of them and stuff, and he was writing them. He was he figured out, he got a hold of like some real, oh, he got a hold of some real Delta checks. I think it was
Yeah.
Delta,
Uh-huh.
and he was printing his own Delta checks and cashing them. I mean, it was crazy what he was doing. And he and then he decided that it was a little hot, so he became a doctor. He found I forget how he did that, but he forged credentials from some thing, and somehow he became friends with a doctor that was like the chief of some
Mm-hmm.
little hospital in some Louisiana town. And he tells it, and
And he,
he
he
told the
was,
guy he told the guy he was a doctor. And so the guy, one day he's talking to this guy, they became friends, and one day the guy goes, I've got a problem. And he's like, what's your problem? And he goes, well, I need a doctor at night, my night doctor at the hospital is quitting or retiring or something, and so he convinced him to take the job. And he was like, I never worked on anybody. I let he let all the
He delegated.
he
Yep.
delegated, but it was crazy. And at one
He'd
point,
ask a nurse and make her feel really good about herself by
yeah, why don't
her
you take their
stepping in.
blood pressure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you need to do this. And
Yeah.
there were residence doctors, were training or whatever that were under him. And
and they thought he was the best thing going. It's like,
Yeah,
let me get in there. Let me get my hands dirty.
yeah, and he got a girlfriend at this point, and he got engaged to her, and they were at her parents' house, and he said I've got to talk to you. And they went on this long walk, and he told her, because he's like, I can't lie to her. So he told her all, he spilt the beans about the doctor thing. I don't think he told her about the airline thing. And she goes, I need to think about this. And so he let her, she walked back to the house, and he went down the street, and he wasn't sure what was going on. She was very upset, obviously. And so he came back to the house, but he went around the block and came up through the neighbor's backyard, and he saw, like, down the street there were some unmarked police cars, and there were police staking out the house, and he's like, nope, she ratted me out.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I remember that was a kind of another one of those things where he just learned a little more about
Yeah.
what he could do and what he couldn't do.
Yep. He's like, well, I've got it. It's time for me to fly.
Yep. And then he has another semi-serious relationship with a French girl, right?
Oh yeah, the
Something
girl
like
that her dad was the printer. I think
Yep.
I think that's when he got caught. Was
Yeah, she ratted him out too, didn't she?
Yeah.
You gotta understand. Women see the big picture. They understand that it all
Yeah,
ends when you choose that life. And then he learned that French prison has a very low recidivism rate because it's not a good place to be.
Yeah, like a hellhole. And then he went to a Swedish prison at one point, and he was like, it's like having an apartment.
Yeah.
I think he went to the Swedish prison first, actually.
Oh, okay.
I think I could be. It's been a while since I read it, and then at one point they were like, no, you've got to come here, and so he went to and then he was like, oh my God, he went from, it seemed like he went from the good one to the real bad one.
It seemed like the French's secret on making you not want to come back is just basically treating you like cargo or freight or whatever. It's just like you are nothing while you are there, and get used to the idea, and we'll feed you your bread and water, period.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I think they literally. I mean, yeah, they made it sound terrible. Which whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
At this point, we want things that have very low recidivism instead of making crime go away by redefining crime.
Yeah.
Can make some criminals unhappy again.
Put some criminals
Right now,
this
is a very happy era for being a criminal.
Yeah, it seems to be, at least.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I've done quite a few real super sketchy notions.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like any of my poses, but I'm just making myself work through it.
That's what you gotta do.
Yep. Especially if you don't have a mind's eye. Go ahead.
Oh no, not the mind's eye.
Yeah, that problem.
So, how are you working out with your weather? How's the weather treating you, Ellis?
Lately, of course, it's been really nice and great nights of sleep. The sciatica, I've just about cured it.
Oh no.
No, I had that sciatica, but it is gradually.
That's right. Because you were stretching, weren't you? Were you watching?
Well,
YouTube
the deal
videos?
is, I discovered you don't stretch nerves. I was trying to stretch it out of existence, and then I finally saw somebody said, Don't stretch a nerve, you know, and that's exactly what I had been doing. I'd been basically keeping it around by aggravating it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I could see that. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had to watch so many YouTube videos that always starts with somebody manipulating the tailbone of a skeleton. I'm really tired of it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
So yeah, and what else have I been doing? Oh, I'm trying to get real serious about the final stage for DL and Odious. I've got a short story where I picked out of that little short story 10 final things, and I'm going to do them completely differently. It's going to be like the book divides in half, and there'll be the short story half, and then of course all the strip work I did.
Yeah.
And the the point where it divides in half is the where you finish up the story, where you realize, oh, this is, well, I won't give it away, but it totally changes his attitude basically for the finish of it, and those become more painterly and all that. They become more like the sort of little paintings you did for we saw in stories to tell in the dark. That sort of kind of like
Oh yeah.
little looser, a little loosey goosey.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Trying to see if I can find that Hellboy book. I don't know what I did. I need to find it so I can read it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at. It's around here
Step
somewhere.
one, find book.
Oh god, I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah.
You've got quite a few laying around.
Oh yeah.
But you do get around to getting use out of. I'm reading a real good book on Hollywood stuff called The Devil's Candy. I don't know if you ever saw or read the book Bonfire of the Vanities. It's a great book, and it's Tom Wolfe at his best, commenting on what hypocritical idiots we all are about race and everything. You know, that we all, can't help ourselves. We're all just a little bit semi-bigoted one way or the other based on who we are.
Sure. People tribe up.
Yeah, they do. Exactly, and that is something that Wolf, I think, may have said it first. We are tribes, and kind of can't help it. And the goings on with this one guy that was a very successful stockbroker in New York is, I guess it is Wolf's first novel. Usually.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Usually he's trying to play documentarian. He's reporting on actual events, even though obviously he's using a very imaginative take on things. But he's done research, to where he can put you there and all that.
Yeah.
The right stuff and all that. But this one is just a novel. And of course, that's a great book, too.
Oh, yeah. I think I've got that around here somewhere.
That's
very well. The New Frontier put me very much in the right stuff kind of mood.
Yeah, it's got a lot of that in it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think Eisenhower's in part of it even. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like it. I think I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think it may be I think it's better than the Parker stuff. Even though I like the Parker stuff, and the Parker stuff is probably more accessible for a non-comic person.
Mhm.
Because it's not.
You got me ready to read this now. I tell you.
Read it, slacker.
Yeah, I've been putting it off. I don't know. I'm not exactly putting it off. It's just not occurring to me to read it.
Well, I've been making a list of stuff I need to read and all this kind of stuff. It's very helpful.
Mm-hmm. To-do list.
And watch. I've been watching all kinds of stuff.
What have you watched lately?
Oh gosh. Well, you know what I'm going to watch tonight? Probably. What? I'm going to watch the animated version of The New Frontier.
Oh yeah. You got a DVD from somewhere.
Yeah. Vintage Stock had it, and I was in there and I happened to see it. I go, oh, I want this, and I bought. I have a watch. Let's see, what have I watched? I went to the library. I checked out a bunch of DVDs. I watched all of them. Well, I started that Room 247, which is the documentary about Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, I've watched that before. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
pretty
think,
cool.
I didn't think it was that great. I couldn't
Yeah.
get into it. But what else did I watch? Oh, I watched the Daleks Invasion Earth 2150 or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
The Peter Cushing Doctor Who.
Uh-huh.
The second one. What was the other DVD I checked out from the live? There's one more. I can't remember what it is, Ellis. I'm trying to think.
I watched The Black Widow. I think I talked about that last time.
Oh, the Marvel movie?
Yeah, the Marvel movie, and that was, it was interesting, but it's too long.
Yep.
The humor doesn't work.
Yep.
It's just got some weird things wrong with it, and you can't get over it.
Yep.
And what was the other one I watched? But other than that, I go on to things like Tubi and I add to my list, but I never watch anything.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this will be interesting someday when my attention span gets healthy again.
Yeah, I need to watch. So when we were in New York, I bought The Black Cat, and the other day I bought The Wolfman Complete Legacy that I want to watch because Dan recommended it highly. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Yeah, well.
And I remember seeing it when I was a kid. I thought it was decent, or I think I remember thinking it was decent. So,
I've decided, after doing all these sketches, I've decided what she's going to be doing is something with a snake.
What? Oh.
Yeah, she's got a tail.
Oh.
I should involve the prehensileness of her tail in some way or other.
Oh yeah, she's fighting a snake.
Yeah, that might be good.
That sounds like it's right up Mike Hoffman's alley.
Yeah, I would like to do a big old cat though as well. That'd be good. He's got a cover of one. I'll share one of the things he's got of his character. This doesn't show off her tail. Hoffman, watching a couple of his YouTube videos, I've learned I was always under the impression that this guy was a purist and wanted to be as much like Rosetta as he could be. Nah, he's like an acrylic guy.
Really?
More often than he is oil painting, yeah. Mm-hmm. Whatever works, exactly. I mean, that's the deal. If he's making his acrylic look like oil, then he's that's just me being fooled by it. He knows what oil does. He knows the look of oil, but he gets there his way,
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I've watched some of his YouTube videos are kind of interesting too.
Yeah, well, he gets off and he starts just talking about what he believes, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I was watching one where he likes to walk. I guess he must live on a farm or out in the country or something, or
rural enough that he gets out and can walk along some long parkway.
Yeah, he was walking in the creek when that I remember. And his thing was you got to walk in a creek barefoot.
Uh-huh. All that pebbly stuff, right up until you step on that broken bottle.
Yeah, no, it's more like you're connected to the magnetic of the earth or something like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did have that going on. Yeah, talking about gravity and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been working out in this heat, every day, but I wonder at some point when you go over the brink and actually it's all downhill when you're using up something you should have just hung on to instead of investing in it and in exercise. It's like maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Wait till it gets cooler.
Oh,
It's hard to say.
well,
You know,
yeah, as far as that goes, possibly.
yeah. Well, naturally, I mean, and of course, the best example of that is the moment you have a heart attack while you're in the middle of exertion. It's like,
Well,
you shouldn't have been doing that, you know.
yeah,
But
I mean, yeah, it can happen. You know,
yeah.
my father-in-law is having some issues right now. He went to the doctor the other day with chest pains,
Oh.
and they think, well, they said he was probably angina. He's had a heart attack.
Mm.
He's had a quadruple bypass or something like that, and a couple stents.
Hmm.
And
Well, they've been in there, huh? Yeah.
they've been in there. Yeah, they know the lay of the land. And but he when he had his heart attack, he had it in, like, I don't know, 2004, something like that, in early 2000s. And he just didn't immediately go out and start exercising. You know, he
Yeah.
just,
No. No.
and well, no, he should have. I mean, he should have. He never exercised. He didn't change his lifestyle that much.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, I think he eats a little better, but you know, and it's like, man, you know, so now, 20 years later, it's like, well, you know, I don't know. And they tell him a pacemaker could fix him, but he's not at the point he needs a pacemaker. You know,
Hmm.
so he kind of, Michelle talked to him, and she said he kind of just feels like they just want him to die. You know, it's like,
Well,
oh,
the indifference to the medical community to you is he's probably right. I mean, they
yeah,
probably don't care if he dies or not. Yeah.
he's on Medicare, so it would
Yeah.
be more profitable for them if he did
Keep
die.
it,
But
keep him around.
yeah, anyway. Oh, I want to read you something. Hang on,
Okay.
I need to go get something out of my backpack. I want to read
All
you
right.
this. I think you'll dig this.
I was going to tell you something too that I had to do with something I'd read recently. I can't think of it now.
Hang on just a second. I'm running
Okay.
downstairs. I mean, I can still hear you.
Okay.
I got my headphones on.
So I instantly ruined the whole notion of this drawing by making my big cat standing up on his back hind legs. So
Oh, yeah, you got to be careful about that.
yeah, I'll continue to explore it for the heck of it.
So on the show, I have talked about my cousin before, my cousin, the
Mm-hmm.
artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said, in my mind, my cousin is like a true artist, and, uh, and I was looking, I've been combing through online files lately because I'm preparing to move everything to a new computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found this. This is the plot he gave me for a comic. It's 3 pages, but I want to read it because
Okay.
I think it's interesting because my cousin has these crazy ideas. Now the first part is I'll just read it and
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
This is called Monkey King #1,
All
Part
right.
1. Enter the monkey. 1, daytime, city of Chicago. 2, Wild Wolf is lowering himself on wire, then slips into a window into the lab and workrooms of the Chicago LOV headquarters. I don't know what that is. A
Mm-hmm.
nearly bald scientist in a lab coat is working on some machinery, but turns to see Wild Wolf and his face filled with terror. Hi there, Bingo. Close up of Wild Wolf's scary mask here. The scientist, who has fallen back against the table with fear, is regaining his balance and says, "It's Bingham, and you should not jeopardize the headquarters by being here. You are a wanted criminal." Close up of Wild Wolf's eye. Now, Bingo, all on the line of duty. I'm a hero, remember? Close up of Bingham's upper face, a bead of sweat rolling down his brow. A hero who has no respect for human life, and it's Bingham, please. Wild Wolf looks at the machinery on the table. Yeah, well, it's tough out there. Have you guys got anything on the dimensional portal? Show mechanical parts and gadgets on the table. Not really. We are lost, as a matter of fact, out of our depth and undermanned. Bingham and Wild Wolf turn to face camera because the voice off camera says, "I may be able to help you with that." The Monkey King standing in a doorway. I have some familiarity with slipping into the other world. Wild Wolf. I thought I was having a sensory hallucination, smelling monkey, but there you are, and you didn't make much noise getting in here either. Okay, Monkey Man, you say you can help us, but what do you want? And how do you get familiar with the other world? Monkey King. I'm looking for members of the Legion of Valor. LOV, as it is called, a friend. A friend told me that you would be inclined to help me in my cause. Wild Wolf, you're pretty much looking at it. Not many of us on active duty right now, but tell me, who or what are you, and what is this cause? If it's possible for the next section to start a new page, that would be great. Okay. So that was one page.
Interesting. Yeah.
That was one page. Okay, so hang on. There's more. This is more concepts. That's this plot that he gave me.
Well, it's good. It starts late. You know, the guy's just coming in the door, and everybody is introduced to you by just they're interacting with each other.
Yep. Okay. Part 2. Monster Maker Mash. Early morning be good. Have you drawn scenes set at night? Mike Mignola is a great reference for shadows and dark scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Wolf and Monkey King approach and sneak into what is supposed to be the secret lab of Monster Maker, but it looks like a warehouse. They see 3 burly guys who are unloading truck. They take out the men and look through the truck. Octopus, Maniac, and Demagogue looks like a very handsome and well-built politician, and the Stretching Woman are watching the heroes on a monitor. The Stretching Woman is making a call on a cell phone. The Stretching Woman turns to Octopus. He says to blow the place up, destroy all evidence, and get Sardonyx out of there. The Stretching Woman tells Demagogue, get Sardonyx out while me and Maniac slow down the good guy goons. Octopus, let's give our guys a big blowout welcome. Octopus pushes buttons on the panel in front of him. Wild Wolf and Monkey King are looking through truck and warehouse when an explosion propels them in different directions. Sardonyx is sitting up on an operating table, removing wires from himself. He has recently been operated on by Monster Maker. Demagogue tells him that they have to get out of here. Some, quote, heroes are busting up the place, and the police will be here soon. Wild Wolf and Monkey King are off balance for a minute when the Stretching Woman, Maniac, and 6 henchmen come through a hidden elevator and attack them. The 6 henchmen are armed with assortments of weapons, mostly firearms. The Stretching Woman surprises the heroes, tripping them up while they're busy clobbering the human henchmen. Maniac is using hand grenades at close range. He's a quick dodger and has an umbrella-type shield. He stuns Wild Wolf with one of the grenades. Then Demagogue slips out the back door with Sardonyx. The floor, weakened by Maniac's grenades, collapses underneath, and Wild Wolf falls down through the gaping hole with 2 thugs grappling him and hangs there for a moment before falling. Wild Wolf drops through the lower floor and dispenses the 2 henchmen and discovers the secret lab, which is underground. He can see and goes to the next area where Octopus is destroying the evidence, computer files, hard drive files, and equipment. Wild Wolf and Octopus go one-on-one. Wild Wolf kills the Octopus. Monkey King puts up a good fight, but begins to be overpowered by the remaining conscious thugs, Stretching Woman, and Maniac. Wild Wolf uses a grappling hook to get back up into the battle and kills Maniac by stuffing a grenade down his throat, which blows his head up. Monkey King mops up the remaining henchmen and starts whipping the Stretching Woman, who sneaks out through a vent too narrow for Monkey King to follow. Wild Wolf and Monkey King search and find logbooks and notes hidden in a safe opened by Octopus. Wild Wolf and Monkey King hear police sirens and go back up. The police enter before they leave. Wait, what? Oh, before Monkey King and Wild Wolf leave. And point guns at Monkey King and Wild Wolf, who tries to explain what he's doing there. Police chief tells them they are arresting Wild Wolf for multiple manslaughter and murder charges and orders them to surrender. Wild Wolf uses a smoke bomb and they escape, run for it, dodging a few bullets. A bullet hits Wild Wolf, show him grabbing his side before Monkey King lifts him and escapes by climbing a building. At the nearly deserted LOV headquarters, Monkey King is reading the notes he has taken from the Monster Maker's secret lab hideout. I can't read. When he discovers that the Coven has sold DNA from LeKing, son of Mistron, to the Monster Maker. Okay, so let me give you some backstory. That's the end of what I got, but I mean, it's crazy stuff.
No, it's good. It's good comic scripting. I can tell just by what you've laid out there. You could,
yeah, but So this
Pardon.
coven that he's talking about, it's a coven of wizards from the year like 3000
Mm-hmm.
who went through time, and they kidnapped this Lekang guy. Lekang is like my cousin's version of Superman, and he kidnaps him, and he steals his DNA, and then he goes through time, and he uses it to create superheroes in the past. And so that's what he's saying, that the Coven has sold DNA to this monster maker guy. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, crazy
Well, no,
stuff. I
no,
mean,
it's great. That's one of those things that's a solid gold idea, but
oh
then
my gosh.
now all it lacks is execution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we just and I hate it because I loved working with my cousin. We would get on. We wouldn't do a live stream, but we'd get on video chat like every Thursday and talk for like an hour, and we'd work all this stuff out, and we'd talk and stuff, we just couldn't. It was so frustrating because I knew we had no way to get this thing published,
Mm-hmm.
and and so it was frustrating to me because, well, he couldn't write a script. This was the closest I ever got to a script.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm telling him, dude, that's not one page. Like the first long thing I read, he was like, okay, that's page one. I'm like, that is not page one. That's issue one.
Yeah, yeah.
There,
Yeah, that he would probably greatly profit from that book that one guy wrote. What's that called? Oh, I've got it. I don't have it laying right here. I used to have it laying right
kill
there.
the cat. No, save the cat.
No,
No.
it's by that guy that was famous for writing The Hulk and a few other things, and he's a very famous writer. But he tells,
Talk about Peter David.
yeah, Peter David. Peter David wrote a book about artists react to writers not realizing you can't do two things at once or whatever the way you can as you're
Yeah.
writing them.
Yeah.
You gotta pick your moment as an artist, and it's like writers don't quite understand that. They
Yeah.
aren't bound by some of the linear things that an artist is bound by.
100%. And I mean, I loved working with him, but I mean, so he gave me, and it's not part of this, he gave me part of the script, and I drew really detailed thumbnails and sent it to him, and he was like, no, this is all wrong. It's like,
That's funny. You
what?
thought you
I
were going to
thought,
stimulate him with
yeah.
seeing his stuff come out on
God,
paper,
and
and
I just, I,
he said no, no.
and I wish I had some of that. I mean, I'm an artist. I draw, but I don't have that. I don't know what it is. I mean, I really don't consider myself like a true artist. And I would consider you one. But
And
definitely my cousin. I know a few other people, but I don't know if I'm too straight laced or too tied down by the burdens of responsibility or whatever it is, but it's just like, you know,
oh well, it's like trying to reassure my nephew that he's a guy that is one in a million. He had a dream. He made it happen.
yeah,
But now, he looks at it and he's grading it as like, well, I didn't make much money at it. And
yeah, I mean,
that's the deal. How many people ever went into business making telescopes?
yeah,
Not many. And custom telescopes, and had customers, and got along pretty good doing it. And he's yet to maybe he will turn a corner on. Maybe it takes being on YouTube instead of just being a guy that makes
yeah,
telescopes. I think we're all into the cosmic and all that. I think he could find a huge audience as a guy that is crazy about it himself, and if he could just have that come through on a YouTube channel,
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
he'd have a million other people saying, "Oh man, I love everything NASA. I love everything this."
Yeah.
You know, he
Well,
could be a big deal,
so
big
I was
enough anyway.
yeah, I was telling you that I was telling the guys at lunch about this whole deal with the videos and stuff I'm doing.
Hmm.
And I was telling them when I said, what's crazy is this guy that's in charge. I mean, he's very, this Scott's a genius. Scott does this, and I'm like, I don't know what he's seeing. But we go, so I go over there to the two guys I'm working with's house, and we're doing this Walmart video, like a Walmart promotional video.
Hmm.
And they have all this video shot, and the guy's like, I got all this video, and he goes, I don't know what to do with it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I take it and I put it, and I'm like, no. We go through it. We spend a couple hours going through it, and I'm like, dude, I've got it. And so we start writing notes, and he's just like, holy cow, I never could have done that. And these are guys that are like very creative, but they don't have a mind. I guess they don't have a mind, or they don't think about like how to put all that stuff together. And maybe that's where my,
Yeah. Yeah.
I am an organizer,
Mhm.
even though you couldn't tell it from my office. But, I mean, when it comes to like, doing stuff,
I mean, I imagine I imagine you've got a lot of very organized piles.
Yes. Well, I'm better at like getting projects organized than
Yeah.
actual like physical media, certainly.
Yeah.
But
Well, this company I was in for just a short time called Monkeytropolis.
yeah.
We had the world's greatest demo of using I guess it was a PS2's engine to literally create from particles a tornado right in front of your eyes.
Oh, wow.
And it could tear stuff up and all that. And and the idea was we were going to do something called Storm Chasers.
Nice.
But nobody ever turned the corner on having that as a fantastic pitch because there was no game there.
Right. Yeah. What's the game?
What's the game? And if we'd ever thought of the game, I think I'd still be in business in Monkeytropolis. I think we would have been a smash success if somebody had the genius that said, "Okay, this is what the game is."
There was no story.
Yeah, there was no story. Nobody
You
came
gotta
up with a story for it. Yeah.
They should have. They needed the story before the technology.
Yeah, that's right. With the
Well-
technology was just so impressive, and it gave us paychecks for about a year from I forget who mainly wrote us during that period, but it was kind of cool to feel like you were a big deal, making money because someone believed in you and all that.
Yeah. Somebody believing you is always a big deal.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, Scott, we've been at it 1 hour and 8 minutes, and we're going to get together tomorrow. We're going to go to
Yes.
Porches, and
We'll go to Porches. Yeah, you're gonna meet me at like.
what time?
My goal is to leave my work at 10. So like 10:15, meet me
Okay.
at Michelle's work,
Okay, 10:15.
and we'll go. I'll drive, and then we'll come back, and I'm gonna stay downtown. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to go with me,
You want to go downtown and eat Frito pie?
we can do that if you want to. I'll buy you lunch if you go with me.
What's the hours on that Frito pie place? I imagine they close pretty quick.
Oh, I think it's
Coney
like
Island.
one or two, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're going to get out of there just as soon as lunch hour's over.
But we won't be that. I mean, if we go to Porches at 10,
Go to
we'll
Porches
be back,
and
we'll be
buy a
back
couple
by
things.
11:30, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So, okay.
Sounds good. 10:15 tomorrow. Okay, we'll see you.
10:15. See you, man. Bye.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Let me.
well,
I'll
yeah,
end
the-
end